A man named Daniel Rivers and his wife named Julie are moving into an old house in upstate New York. As the workers bustle about the old house, one of them stumbles upon an ancient relic, a bracelet that could have been worn by Cleopatra herself. With a flourish, he presents it to Julie, mistaking her for the rightful owner. Meanwhile, poor Daniel is running on caffeine and dreams of a fully renovated home, but mostly caffeine. Later that evening, in the dimly lit living room, Julie fiddles with the bracelet, trying to make it look less like an archaeological find and more like something she'd wear. Suddenly, she hears a whisper, and Lou, the cat, goes into full Scooby-Doo mode. As Julie embarks on her ghost-hunting adventure, Daniel pops up out of nowhere, scaring the baby out of her, scaring the crap out of her. He then shows her the baby room he has been working on. Later that night, the couple attends an academic banquet hosted by Dean Whittier and his wife. Mrs. Dean innocently queries if this bun in Julie's oven is their debut kid, and Daniel, with a grin as fake as a dollar store Rolex, confirms yes. Upon returning home, the mood sours faster than milk left in the sun as Julie accuses Daniel of having the memory of a goldfish at a memory competition. As she storms upstairs like a bull in a china shop, she encounters a little boy that would make Casper proud. She trips and tumbles, like a character straight out of a slapstick comedy. After recalling the stillbirth of her son, Julie awakens in the hospital, and she is greeted by Dr. Meadows, who, with all the subtlety of a clown with a chainsaw, proclaims Julie and the fetus as fine. It's as if they just won the jackpot in the worst lottery ever. Dr. Meadows then sentences Julie to bed rest, like she's a criminal serving time in a pregnancy penitentiary. Discharged from the hospital, Julie is gently guided home by Daniel, who's determined to turn their bedroom into NASA headquarters. With 55 days until the due date, Julie embarks on her inaugural day of bed rest like a determined astronaut preparing for a mission to Mars. However, her tranquility is disrupted by naughty noises in the closet, prompting an investigation to no avail. Later that night, tensions skyrocket faster than a rocket with broken brakes and Daniel scolds her for not staying in bed as the doctor ordered. She accuses him of being more controlling than a remote with low batteries, while he compares her stubbornness to a mule with a PhD in defiance. That's emotional damage right there. Anyway, he then apologizes to avoid World War III. In the dead of night, Julie's beauty sleep is rudely interrupted by the storm outside. She bolts upright, only to spot a shadowy figure doing its best impression of a closet gremlin. Julie jolts Daniel awake and stumbles out of bed like a jumping circus monkey. After an exhaustive closet investigation that would make Sherlock Holmes proud, nothing is found, and Julie's nerves are singing soprano. 12 days have passed now. Julie sits by a window, observing a boy playing in the snow. When she asks about his mother, he points at her before the window abruptly slams shut faster than my girlfriend's phone when she sees a text from her ex. Just as she's about to catch her breath, an alert from the baby monitor startles her, making her jump higher than a kangaroo on a trampoline. But it's just Lou, probably practicing his snack heist. Julie spots a face in the mirror and calls 911 like a woman calling for backup when she sees a cockroach in the bathroom, and they advise her to close the door. She sprints like a gazelle to close the door and sees a watery footprint on the roof. Daniel arrives home, and he finishes speaking to the police because they find no one. Their argument heats up faster than a microwave burrito, with Daniel insisting he hired a babysitter for Julie. Later that night, Julie opens a box of toys meant for her stillborn son, and she cries herself to sleep, feeling emotional like she has seen a puppy adoption commercial. She wakes up like a cat on a hot tin roof and sees a car moving on the ceiling. She suspects Andrew's ghost is trying to communicate, so she grabs the baby monitor, ready to negotiate with the afterlife. But before she can say jinkies, Daniel interrupts her, looking more bewildered than a moth in a candle shop, and asks her if everything is okay. She says yes. It's day 23, and a nurse named Delmy Walker arrives who will take care of Julie. She tells her about herself not becoming a mother, so she took this job to help others. Julie is on day 29 of bed rest, with 27 days until the big push party begins. Delmy assists Julie into the bathtub before leaving the room. Julie notices Andrew's reflection in the mirror and feels her stomach do the Macarena. Dr. Meadows takes a peek inside Julie's belly button disco and diagnoses it as a case of Braxton Hicks, probably just a dance party in there. Concerned about Julie's mental state, Dr. Meadows inquires about the boy she's been seeing. He discusses the option of admitting Julie to a mental facility if the medication proves ineffective, as unknowingly overheard by Julie. Delmy begins giving Julie her medicine that very night. The days pass, and Julie now appears to be stress-free, enjoying her time with Delmy. On day 46 of Julie's bed rest, just 10 days from her due date, she summons Andrew like a ghostly Uber driver, warning her about baby-snatching shenanigans. Julie's spidey senses are tingling with suspicion about Delmy's intentions, so she spills the beans to Daniel faster than a clumsy waiter drops a tray of dishes, leading to an argument more heated than a Gordon Ramsay cooking contest. 3 days before Julie's due date, Delmy decides to play storyteller, spinning a yarn about a woman named Melandra Kinsey, whose initials just so happen to match those engraved on Julie's bracelet. Suddenly, the mystery surrounding the Kinseys, the previous occupants of their house, has Julie's curiosity peaked higher than a cat reaching for the top shelf of treats. She dives into the investigation like a detective with a bone to pick, determined to uncover the truth faster than a ferret in a sock drawer. On the last day of bed rest, Julie hooks up her phone to the nursery camera and comes face to face with Andrew once again, asking about Melandra Kinsey before disappearing quicker than a politician's promise. She sees him standing with 2 other boys. But before she can piece together the puzzle, the camera cuts out faster than a coupon for free pizza on a Friday night. After hearing heavy footsteps and seeing ghostly hands on her stomach, Julie calls for Delmy, who mistakenly thinks Julie's in labor faster than you can say, false alarm, folks. Julie receives an email with a horrifying article revealing that Melandra drowned her 3 sons in the bathtub before taking her own life. It becomes clear to Julie that Melandra's ghost wants her baby to replace the daughter she lost. Julie begs to be taken to the hospital, as Melandra is in the house. Paranormal activity intensifies, with Delmy being pulled out the window to her death. Daniel witnesses the supernatural events and realizes Julie was right. Melandra busts in, throwing punches like she's auditioning for the next Mortal Kombat game, giving Daniel a supernatural smackdown and trapping Julie in the loo. She gives birth to a child in the tub like it's a surprise party. Then an old hag looking like a worn-out broom appears, and she tries to kill the child with her bad breath. Julie's like, "No thanks, your breath could knock out a skunk from a mile away." Julie fights her by causing the floor to collapse, bringing Julie and the baby to the ground. Julie dies, and her ghost confronts the old hag to save her child. She grabs her pencil-looking neck with her hands and tells her your breath could peel paint off the walls before sending her to the dentist in hell. She then hears Andrew sound and holds him softly like a furry cat. Meanwhile, the ghost of Delmy appears, taking Andrew's spirit with her to heaven while assuring Julie they will wait for her there. Paramedics burst in, reviving Julie like she's the star of a B-movie horror flick, and the curtains close with Daniel happily playing with their daughter, while Julie joins in, looking like she's just back from the creepiest vacation ever. If you enjoy this wild tale of nighttime antics, give it a thumbs up, hit that share button to spread the laughter, drop a comment with your favorite part, and don't forget to hit that follow button for more adventures straight out of the imagination.